Our job is to try and figure out what Biden's speech meant for the country. So let's look at it for a minute. The lockdowns have been tough, Biden conceded at the outset. God knows how we got them, but we did. Those restrictions will be lifted as soon as we can lift them, and we will return to some version of the country we now only dimly remember. We'd really love to do that. We mean it. We'd love it. But in order to go forward and take the boot off your neck, we're going to need every American to listen very carefully and to obey our orders. Do what we tell you to do. Now, that won't be easy, but if you do it, there is a payoff for good behavior. If you're obedient, there's a chance, not a guarantee, of course, but a distinct possibility, God willing, that you may be able to see some of the people you love around July 4th. That could actually happen, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this.
If we do our part, if we do this together, by July the 4th, there's a good chance you, your families and friends will be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood and have a cookout or a barbecue and celebrate Independence Day. That doesn't mean large events with lots of people together, but it does mean small groups will be able to get together.
Did you hear that, America? There is a good chance, again, not a sure thing, but what is a sure thing these days? But a good chance that you might be allowed to have a modest cookout 4 months from now. That is, as long as you obey regulations, weather permitting, and assuming that current federal projections unfold according to plan. That's your prize. This offer, by the way, does not apply to full-time employees of the radio station or their families. But with luck, this could be your reward after a year and a half of lockdowns. A 4th of July cookout in your very own backyard, assuming you have one. Don't ever tell us that Joe Biden isn't a compassionate, generous man. Here he is offering you, with some medically necessary caveats outlined by Dr. Anthony Fauci, the right to cook your own hot dogs. With the provision, obviously, that you do it in a small, masked group seated far apart at a prescribed distance from one another. Don't get crazy and hug or celebrate or talk too loud or anything like that. Moderation is the key here. But still, a socially distanced barbecue. What other wonders does President Biden have in store for us? Well, you're going to have to get vaccinated to find out. Sorry, that's the other requirement. Should have mentioned it. Everybody needs the shot, period. That's what Biden said. And that's a lot of shots. The good news, now that we're on what Joe Biden describes as a, quote, war footing with this virus, vaccinating people against it is a counterterrorism operation. What we did to ISIS, we're going to do to COVID. Biden didn't mention drones, but we will need soldiers. And that's why Joe Biden is building a vaccination corps that will include active duty members of the military, an army of vaccinators. Watch.
2 months ago, this country didn't have nearly enough vaccine supply to vaccinate all or ever near all of the American public. But soon we will. Now, because all the work we've done, we'll have enough vaccine supply for all adults in America by the end of May. That's months ahead of schedule. And we're mobilizing thousands of vaccinators to put the vaccine in one's arm.
Thousands of vaccinators to vaccinate everyone. That sounds amazing. But it does raise at least one vexing question. What if you don't want to get vaccinated? Not everyone does. Some people have religious objections. Others have concerns about this specific medicines. Others simply don't want it. Do you need a reason to turn on the vaccine? And what happens if you do turn it down? Will you be allowed to fly on airplanes or go to work or enter the front doors of Madison Square Garden? Joe Biden didn't specify, but it's pretty hard to believe he would support any kind of vaccine coercion. As he has told us so often over so many years, if it's your body, it's your choice.
I support a woman's right to choose under that constitutional guaranteed provision. And quite frankly, I always will. Folks, you know, and I'm going to fight to protect a woman's right to make her own personal decisions when it gets to her health care.
Quite frankly, you've got the absolute right to make your own personal decisions about your own personal health care. Period. That's in the Constitution. Joe Biden would never violate that right. He's been defending that right since before you were born. It's your body. It's your choice. Period. Of course, as with everything, there are caveats. If you don't take the shot that Joe Biden wants you to take, if you persist in making your own personal decisions about your own personal health care, then Joe Biden is going to have to shut the country down again. No socially distanced barbecues for you, buddy. You're going to have to eat your hot dogs alone inside.
If we don't stay vigilant and the conditions change, then we may have to reinstate restrictions to get back on track.
To which CNN might say, hallelujah, but we're not CNN.